All right, this is a continuation of where we're learning about evaluating expressions using GEMS with exponents. So just to ground ourselves again in our objective, and I'm going to click through some slides to get us to where we need to be today. Okay, so we're going to ground ourselves in some key points before we move on today. So, key point. An exponent represents the number of times the base is multiplied by itself. We've talked about this already when we've looked at the definition of the base and the exponent. So now we're going to talk about the order of operations that we use when we are looking at an equation. So the first thing that we want to do is we want to first evaluate any operations inside the parentheses. So that means when you see these symbols up here, these different types of parentheses, you want to do the work inside those parentheses before you go out and beyond. And we'll take a better look at that, not in this video, but in the next video. Next, we want to evaluate any exponents. So again, exponents are these numbers with the base and then the exponent up here. After we complete all of those, we now want to we now want to evaluate any multiplication or division moving from left to right. So just like we read from left to right, that's how we're going to come to our multiplication and division. So we're going to start on the left and we're going to go to the right, which will be more visible as we go through some of our scenarios. Finally, we're going to evaluate any subtraction and or addition moving from left to right. So again, that same reading structure, left to right. Feel free to come back to this slide at any time. You will see often this little key on the side of your slides too, so that you can work with that. Here we have an example. It says, evaluate the expression 6 squared divided by 3 squared plus 11 squared. The other way someone might read this is 6 to the second power divided by 3 to the second power plus 11 to the second power. So I kind of helped us along already and laid out the steps, but if we were looking at this without looking at those steps first, we would simply come over here and we would say, do I see any grouping symbols? And look back to our equation or our expression. And there are no parentheses, so I would skip that. The next thing I would look for would be for exponents. Well, I see one exponent here. Let's make this the same color. One exponent here and one exponent here. So I've put these out for us. 6 to the second power, or 6 squared, is not 6 times 2. Remember, it is the base number multiplied by itself however many times the exponent tells us to. So it tells us to multiply 6 by itself 2 different times. So we have 6 times 6. And 6 times 6 is 36. Next, we have our 3 to the second power, or 3 cubed. Pardon me, 3 squared. So 3 2 times is 3 times 3, and that equals 9. And then lastly, we have our 11 to the second power, or 11 squared, and we have 11 times 11 equals 121. So now that we have these all figured out, now we need to look at how we rewrite this equation. So 6 squared, we know, is 36 because we did that math. And divided by 3 squared. Well, 3 times 3 is 9. So we'll put that 9 there. Plus 11 squared, which we did right here, which is 121. All right, now we've completed our exponents. So next we need to look and see if we have any multiplication and division. And right here, we see that we have division. So we need to do that first. So we are going to divide 36 divided by 9. And 36 divided by 9 is 4. Thank you for having patience with me with writing. So now again, we're going to rewrite our expression. Instead of the 36 divided by 9, we now know that that equals 4. So we're going to write 4 plus 121. And so we're going to add 4 plus 121 because that's all we have left. But that's also, we finished our multiplication and division. And that's our next step, is to go to addition and subtraction. So 4 plus 121 is 125. And that is our answer. So this is something you can also revisit. You can also look at this slide for a little bit more clarity and to see the numbers more clearly. But this should help you understand how we go through this process. You may pause here and continue to work on the problems that are similar to this in the next few slides. When you get to the stop sign, please stop there. If you have any questions, feel free to revisit what we discussed in this video or ask. You got this.